Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to all
there.
listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We're covering Love is Blind. We're not covering Love is Blind. We're covering Love Island UK Season 12, Chris. We are back again. This is our 7th season now of Love Island, or Love Island UK. Loads more internationally with Australia and the USA. Probably talk about that as well a little bit later. But Chris, where would you like to start today?
Well, Dave, we have had a bit of a break, haven't we, from the main feed. We've done a couple of Patreon episodes for our lovely Patreons, but it was nice to have a bit of a break. And then this reared its head, and we were like, we were almost like getting ourselves back into, civilized, normal life, Dave. And then it's like, you see Maya Jama advertised in it, and like, yeah, we're back. So I wasn't sure where we'd start with anything or how the show would go. And I think what I've found really interesting this week is they've tried to change things, which we always say, change it, do this, do that. Why is this game still in there? But straight away, I must admit, Dave, everyone, it's almost as if the season hasn't even finished like from last year. It's like it's just been a continued show because it's the same DNA. Ian Sterling doing the same crap jokes. I think they're probably getting even worse. There's a couple of funny ones this week, but it was back where I was sort of cringing at times, some of the things. But I do like some of the new concepts that they brought in. I just don't know how it's going to play out. Like, obviously, the way the guys were picked this time. Last time it was a public vote. This time was to do with the hearts and how they came together. We've got plenty of bellends, Dave, so we're going to hear that word a lot from me, and I'm sure from you. So I think it was just Love Island DNA. Like I say, it's the 7 series that we've covered. I'm so sorry that you started at 5. It's now 12, Dave, season 12. It's all my fault that you're here. And I think as the week was going on until Friday's episode, I was sort of the Dave Horrocks mode of, I've had enough of this. I've had enough at times. I was like,
I'm
for
too
God's
old
sake.
for
But
this
then,
shit.
yeah, Roger Mertz, I was like, I've had enough. But then as it's going on, I'm like, don't be so hasty, Chris. There's still Love Island. It's still ridiculous. The problem is, Dave, we'll be covering this, and at some point, all the contestants will be the same as our grandkids, not our kids, which is what they are now, Dave. If this carries on, we're going to be like, yeah. But anyway, I've waffled on as usual, but thank you for everyone who's supported us. Even over the last few weeks when we're not there, we see that everyone's still watching the old episodes and the YouTube channel. Get over to their CDReality Cast. Come over and give us a subscribe. This is, again, if you listen to us on audio, we are doing it on YouTube again on video. We'll see if we do every week, but we thought, let's carry on as we did with Maths last series. So, we're back again, Dave. 2 middle-aged, grumpy men. Exactly how it should be. So what about yourself, Dave, for this week?
Well, you know what? It's a funny journey that we've been on, isn't it? Because I think maybe before the very last episode, I think you were in my position of being a grumpy, cynical bastard, like, oh, this is all terrible. And I've said all along, I generally don't like the weak ones. But I think this week has been okay, actually. I haven't felt the fatigue. And maybe part of that is just from having a little break in between when Maths finished and then coming on to this. And I think I don't quite know where I land on the changes that they've implemented. So I remember going back to that season 5 when I came in like the cynical, grumpy bastard that I am. But then the first thing that hit me was the whole way that the couples were selected. And the guys, they come in, they give all the spiel. It's like, oh, I've got all the ladies in the palm of my hand and everything. And then who's going to step forward for him? No one. And it is just, it is a terrible thing, but I'm a terrible person. So it's just the thing that I enjoyed the most, because no one likes more than just seeing narcissists put down a peg or two. So the fact that they changed this part, and they have been tweaking with this coupling bit, haven't they? The last few episodes, and with the audience numbers going down, they're trying to mix things up a bit. But really, I don't think the changes that they've made are going to bring people in or turn people away. And I know for me, looking at the dating profiles and then selecting based on that, I don't need to see that again. I don't think, maybe if you're in a conference room and you're brainstorming and workshopping, oh, what should we do? Yeah, yeah, put the dating profiles. But maybe if they were a bit outrageous, like the old Cilla Black blind date, and they'd usually say something a bit outrageous, but they were all pretty bland, really, weren't they? So yeah, I preferred the old format, if I'm honest, of the way they couple up.
Well, it's interesting because like what what gets me is when they all go in there and you get that fake, it's the girls are pretty much the ones there now as that you go into the villa and it's all that like the best friends and I just love it. I say it every time we do one of these shows. It's like Big Brother. It's like all the others. It's like yeah, we know within a day or so the bitching's going to start, and it did. It always does. They're all best friends. Let's have some prosecco. Woo, yeah. Oh, yeah. You look
Yeah,
stunning. Oh, yeah, yeah. Fucking right. Give it a few days. You'll be like, oh, she's got hair extensions. In. Look at her nails
yeah.
are false. Yeah, fucking tits are false. Everything. They all start so nice. Oh, be friends for life. Of course you will. You can already see the WhatsApp group splintering off already in this first week. But then I think you're right. I think like when Maya comes in and then like she's talking to all of them and they're all like dead excited. And I know we don't know what that's going to be like if we were ever. I mean, obviously, Dave, me and you going in there, we would just, obviously, I can't. I'm married and everything. Yourself. It's like,
We just
but
blend
we
in
would
with the
just be saying,
stage crew at the back, or
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'd
light
look like the
putting out the
catering guys,
lighting.
won't we? Imagine that. We've got Chris and Dave here. Oh right, yeah. What are you serving the food? What are you doing? Are what's going on? But anyway, Dave, we would be top tier. Obviously, I love Ireland, middle aged. Just gonna say that middle aged. But I do. I just think like it feels so familiar. Maya's there talking. The guys come in, and then I think everything's going well. And again, it's only just happened. The people get together, and we get the couples, and then Tony arrives. Dave, Las Vegas resident. Does work in my favorite city, but she comes
Yeah,
in and stirs it up straight away. And it's sort of like, sorry, girls, but I've got to steal her. And I get it. It's part of the show. She has to steal somebody. And then we'd met Shakira, who's really outgoing, Dave. I think like this whole week, Shakira's been front and center, but I don't think she's been annoying. I don't think like I can turn around and say, usually when the production centers on somebody, it's one of them where it's like, yeah, she's doing me head in. I don't necessarily
um,
think she's had a lot of talking head time, which I found a bit unusual. I'm thinking like, who is giving you this thing? Someone must know a producer. But I do think that for the story we've been told this week, they've become actually good friends, Shakira and Tony, and they seem to have split off from the rest of the girls, haven't they? Because of what's happened. So yeah, I think we're getting enough bitching and enough little bit of shit already where I'm like, yeah, actually, Chris, don't be so hasty. And by Friday, I was all in. I was like, yeah, this is great. The TV thing was a good little twist, I thought, by the first week.
yeah, and so letting people peek behind the curtain. Obviously, we were talking a little bit because there's a lot of buzz around the US Love Island at the minute, and apparently last
Yeah.
season was really good, and it's now reached a point where it's better than the UK. Apparently, I haven't watched it myself, so I don't know. So we were like, we could mix it up a bit, but I think it started off fairly strong, and that's because people aren't playing it safe. And I do think, Shakira's had let's call it the Gemma Owen treatment, where she's just been really focused in on, in terms of the storylines that the producers are kind of following around, giving her a lot of screen time. But that was the first bit of drama, wasn't it? I mean, it's
Yeah.
all same end of every episode one, the bombshell comes in, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it!" We've been here for not quite a whole day. Who knew that this was going to happen? And then it was a weird thing where she ends up stealing Ben from Shakira. Obviously, by the end of the week, they're back together. But at that time, but the day after, Tony and Shakira, like you say, end up having this close relationship. And I have to say, one of the things and probably why the producers do like her, I don't know, maybe someone's family does know the producer or whatever, but I think it's more that she went full on graft. And like, when other people end up single, they don't necessarily work that hard. They're not used to working hard for it. Whereas she was grafting everyone in the villa. And so I think it was in episode 2 where I'm thinking, okay, if they're not going to play it as safe, then yeah, I'm kind of in.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the graft thing was brilliant because she talked to everyone. Some of the girls are. The thing is, when you're in Love Island, and we know this, someone who's sort of either, if you've watched the show in the past, you know what you need to do. And you can see
Yeah.
when some of the contestants are meta aware. And Shakira got the assignment. And normally, Dave, I'll be going, oh, what is getting on my nerves? I'd love to see what people think. Maybe she's doing people's heads in. But I think for the concept of Love Island, she's what they need. She needs someone who's like some of the new bombshells that come in the back end of the week. And I think it was Emily. And she said the typical line as they're walking in, they're doing a little bio on them, a little VT of them, they're all
Yeah, yeah.
strolling in together. And she's like,
I'm going to
I
tread
don't
on
care
toes.
anyone. Yeah, I'm going to tread on top. I don't care if you're in a relationship. It's nothing to do with me. And I said to Sam, we watched, I went, yeah, that means we're not even going to see her and she's not going to do anything
Yeah.
because she's going to do nothing. When they say stuff like that, that's just all producer stuff. And Sam watches the Thomas brothers. So, obviously we did the celeb run and we had Scott Thomas who'd been in season 2 and all that. And he was like late 30s, one with Marcel and the Christmas one and all that.
Yes.
And so he was saying on his podcast with his 2 brothers that the producers came to him at one point and went, the ratings are a bit shit. We need some drama. So remember there was the one episode where Scott all of a sudden just flicked, didn't he? And he was like, what the fuck's going on? He went from like this nice guy to just like he's chatting to one of the girls. Well, obviously it was that girl that we should have got with about 10 years ago, which we weren't buying. We knew that was fake.
Yeah.
But the reason he had the personality flip was and he said that. He said the producers told us we need drama. The ratings are dropping. So that's where you're like, well, and you've already alluded to this at the start, if the ratings are dropping, then what's the best thing to do? Get a Shakira in, get a Tony, and get someone who's gonna actually create a little bit of drama. So I normally I'm all, I'm like, gosh, it's nonsense. There was a load of producer-led stuff, but I did find that it was what the show needs. And you're right, it's stronger because I'm sort of side-eyeing the US one then as well, because I'm thinking we can't do both of these together. Even though we were talking about it, like we can't,
Yeah.
we've been there, got the t-shirt, it's like I can't. I was sat in bloody my car, my van,
Allegedly.
watching at any point, allegedly, watching. I'm doing this with my hand as if like it's my phone, but watching it whenever I could, the US one, and then we had to record. So, but I am aware the US one's not on as long, and we've covered it a few times, and I've enjoyed it. It's just that for some daft reason, instead of spacing it out and say putting it at the end of the year after the UK one's on, so you've got either the Christmas or you've got the Aussie, they just don't. They don't marry up. They run parallel to each other, which isn't good for me and you, Dave, at all, and probably our friendship as well. But because we probably hate each other if we did this all the time. But I just think by Friday, by this sort of mini TV movie night thing, I was like, oh, like it. It felt a bit forced with the guys the way they were sat. It felt Towie-like, but also the girls' reactions were actually real. So I went with it. I was like, yeah, they're gonna create a bit of shit this series. So let's see if it plays out. But I'm still with you. First episode wasn't that strong, but then it got better, I think, as the week went on. And I'm sort of like, oh, we're back in again. Michael Corleone every time, Dave. As soon as we pull him out, we're back in. Every time. No matter what I say, I'm back in. I'm going to be watching even the extra episode as we record this tonight.
Yeah, I am not. That is my chance to recharge, and
You say that.
it's a marathon, not a sprint, Chris. So
True.
that's the way I'm going to try and keep my opinions fresh. But what was I going to say? I definitely want to come back to the movie night because I think again that was probably a welcome addition for me. It's a card that you can only play once, isn't it? Because once people know, well, in future seasons, they know that this is something that could happen. But going back to, Shakira getting a graft on, she was with Harry for like 5 minutes, and then Blue takes Shakira for a chat, and they end up having a bit of a kiss in the hideaway bit, don't they? And then Harry's all pissed off, so he sort of goes off. He's then snogging Helena in bed, so like that's instantly finished. And I like how he was doing the greasy sort of the day after. It's like, well, it's not really closed off, is it? And Shakira's having none of it. She's like, nope, it sucks. We were grafting before, but we were cracking on before, I think she said, but we're not anymore. So, yeah, again, I don't think in previous seasons they would have moved that quick. They somewhere, and I don't know, some point in the future, Chris, I will go back and watch the original Love Island, 1 to 4.
Yeah.
But somewhere in between season 5 and let's say season 10-ish, they all became diplomats. They all knew, they'd seen all the previous people and how they were received negatively when they were doing things. And then so they got really good at like not committing to certain things, not committing too early, and, not being a bit naughty because they knew they'd get caught out. And so it was all, I think that's one of the reasons it all started to get a bit bland, really. And the fact that, this lot don't seem to care as much about that, I think is a good thing. So, I mean, Blue, he's ended up going, hasn't he? But I kind of appreciated that he made his move. He took his chance, or whatever cliche, Love Island cliche you want to throw in there, and that's all added to it.
Yeah, but he was very cocksure himself, wasn't he, Blue? He was
Very.
proper, like that thing at the end when there was him and Shay, and they were sort of fighting for the survival. It's good. And again, has he gone too early? I don't know. There's probably going to be other contestants coming or whatever they are, Islanders. But he seemed to be just a bit of a shit. Ben was a bit of a shit as well, wasn't he? He wasn't. He seemed to piss everyone off as well. Again, it's interesting because we don't know anyone yet. We know the names, you know the ones like Shakira. You're not going to forget. Blue is. I mean, that's a weird name. BLU. I mean, I've got some strange names in my family. I was like, is that his real name? Shakira again. We were talking just before the podcast, like she was born before. Well, hips don't lie, Dave. But every time you say Shakira, as I said before we did the podcast, Shakira, just give her to do that. Is that her real name? Maybe it is. I don't know. It's like you were saying about like how they become diplomatic as this has gone on and the perception outside. I mean, even last series, to be fair, Ian Sterling was ripping into him about like he's like he has to listen to us, Dave, the TV deals, that the tooth whine. He was taking the piss, wasn't he, about Instagram followers. So it's like the producers are saying lean into it. We can see the fake ones now, but we're still getting the same thing. I mean, that trampoline. He's a trampoline. It's a hammer. And even Ian Sterling had enough by the end of the week. Like one of the lads was stood there like it was a trampoline. And it's supposed to be a frupples, Dave. Now, anyone knows who David Hay is, the boxer from the UK, he was in a frupple, Dave, recently with two ladies. And they opened for some sort of threesome. I can't imagine you'd be getting your freak on that trampoline, Dave. You're going to be bouncing all over the place. I don't think that's what it's designed for. Well, that's the idea behind it. Change
Like
the
to wipe you
dynamic
down
of the
after
show.
either.
Well, there was slots in between, Dave, actually, but I don't know.
Didn't we? I can't remember if we covered a reality show. Did we do it for Patreon or did we just sort of talk about it? There was something called like threesome or something like that. Wasn't there the
No,
thrupples?
there was one that we were going to do, yeah. And then I when we said the TV segment thing, I picked that on the radio, and we were about to go on talking about it, and it got changed at the last minute, and we talked about something like the Bake Off, which at that point I'd not even watched, Dave. But yes, we were going to do that one. I think it was Amazon Prime one.
They
It was
cooked
like
some stuff or baked some stuff rather.
It maybe was we watched an episode or so, didn't we, where they brought another person into the relationship. I think you're right, actually, but I did pitch it on the TV.
I think
it's a Patreon special.
A one-off.
There was a Netflix thing, actually, not Prime. I think it was a dubbed Spanish TV show, because there was that one we did with the AI, didn't we, where they were pretending they were kissing. You had to work out whether it was AI or not.
That was the Spanish one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a bad show. That I don't know. I mean, not as bad as Virgin Island, which we've been covering on Patreon, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
we've covered some shit, haven't we? I mean, we've been swirling in the bottom of the barrel for a while.
Just like me and you, straight in the barrel.
Just in Labour of Love as well, where they're all having to give a sample, not quite live on camera, but
Ridiculous.
but you mentioned about how cocksure Blue was, Chris, but Remmel, is a content creator, self-improvement content creator, in fact.
Yeah.
And Remel, apparently, the most people he's been with in one night is 5. Now, I
Well.
just, the mind boggles as to, well, I was going to say how you fit it all in, but
I was thinking like if we can get it up 5 times, let alone fucking fit it in, Dave. I mean, that is fucking turbo dick, isn't even the word, is it?
long
Jesus
night,
Christ.
or what is it? Like, or is it
Is
a
that
bit of a
someone to boast about?
Jim from American Pie? Like he went twice in quick succession, didn't he? So you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
I hope he had a fucking shower in between. So I mean, I
Yeah.
can't imagine how that works for him or how it will work with him in Love Island. I can't imagine, any of the girls going, "Oh, what a guy!" you know?
Yeah, I don't get that because I think you've hit the nail on the head. He's either a one band thank you, ma'am, 5 specials, or it's like, well, what was the dynamic that you ended up sleeping with 5 different people in one night? Like, what is?
It's not like
I know
a
it's
bit
an
of
age thing.
tantric stuff, is it? I mean, Sting in the
No.
night, he's just getting fucking warmed up, isn't he?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. And at our age, at middle age, you're sort of thinking, yeah, 5 times, Dave. Fucking hell, I'd have to have a fucking traction on my back or something. There'd be something going. Even though keep myself fit, you just you'd be asleep for about a week, wouldn't you? You'd have to have definitely some blue tablets if you're going to go 5 times. That is unbelievable, unbelievable. And it's the fact that it's not saying he's had sex 5 times in a night with the same person. That's fine. It's
Right.
his missus or
Yeah,
it's like it's
yeah, that'd
five
be
different
different.
people. Like you said, it's like, how is that? Because then like the questions come in. I know I'm probably reading into far too much, but as your opening pitch on Love Island, you just don't say it. Like when some of them send me body count, how many? Yeah, I've had about 300. And other than the lads going, oh yeah, that's great, that in the pub, all the girls are going to go, well, what a cock, literally a cock. I'm not even going near that person. You know what I mean? Because you don't know, they're not going to commit. Have they contracted anything? I know it sounds silly, but you're thinking of practical stuff, especially as we're getting older. Whereas maybe when I was 20 and someone said, yeah, that guy slept with 5 girls in one night, you might have gone, wow, he's a hero. But then when you get older, you're like, actually not. So it's just, it does nothing for me. And I'm sure the girls, it does nothing for them when they listen to that sort of thing. It's just bizarre that you would even bring that in. I wouldn't even tell that story. I'd just be like, no, 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 I've only one person in my whole, or whatever you want to say, but make it realistic. If you're trying to fall in love with someone, the last thing you need is to be saying that you're some sort of Casanova, because that never works in Love Island.
Yeah. The one that always gets me, I mean, was it Calvin, the guy from Manchester, who you sort of loosely connected with? And
Callum.
Callum, that's it.
Yeah.
Slept with like 300 people. Never had a girlfriend, though, Chris. Never had a girlfriend.
I am not commenting on that
Fucking
situation, Dave.
criteria.
Yeah, that last time I commented, it nearly fucking blew up in my face. Let's just say, so yeah.
But
Can
also,
we
I
just
mean,
leave Callum alone?
so Redmond, so he didn't sort of say that, I don't think. But the closest one who came to it is Tommy. So landscape gardener, and Tommy, he was saying, "Oh yeah, no, I've never slept with anyone. I've never slept with a girl overnight." And it's almost as if he's like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I've never actually slept with overnight. I've never stayed overnight. But this would be like the first time. It's like, you
Yeah.
just sound like a prize fucking tool, mate. It's like you don't have to say it like 3 times. I think she probably picked up on it on the first time.
I think you're wrong, though, Dave, because we have just been watching Virgin Island and the what they call the fucking surrogates, who are basically middle-aged people who just dry hump all these virgins. I
It's
think that's
autistic
maybe
adult.
yeah. So now that you've said that, maybe that woman and yeah, exactly, all these like people who neurodiverse or whatever, and these weird like people, it's some sort of fetish club, just basically dry humping them all the way through that show. It's one of the strangest shows I've ever seen. I think if he does mention that Tommy, that lady's going to be straight over there, Dave, from the show, and she'll be like, "Listen, come on, I'll show you. I'm a surrogate. I've never. I mean, that show is ridiculous. If anyone gets to see it, it's
This
ridiculous. It's on
is
Channel
my
4.
body.
Ridiculous.
I mean,
Absolutely ridiculous.
we thought the bottom of the barrel was there. Then we went below the
Fucking
bottom of the
hell.
barrel.
Yeah. the barrel's just burnt out with that. That's underneath, under the dregs of like some sort of thing. But anyway, and I've got to say, Dave, his haircut, that hair has been cut absolutely symmetrical, perfect. He's got the whole thing coming back on it. It comes down here. His hair is immaculate. I can't see he's going to do a lot of swimming, because I didn't buy that story at all. I was thinking she's buying this as well. She's buying this, and that's his play. At the end of the day, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe
Yeah,
any of that.
yeah,
But it's part of Love Island. It's what they do in it. They're all like trying to stay in. They're all vying for that attention. They need to partner up with somebody, otherwise they're going home. Yeah, it's just Love Island. I try not to get too annoyed with it, but yeah, his haircut was magnificent. Absolutely amazing haircut. That.
yeah. And you know, we were talking before, Chris, about how they were shaking up a few different things to try and, I guess, bring viewers back. One of the, I mean, the way you get anyone involved in any story is, you know, introduce conflict. And I thought it was interesting what they did with, you know, it was Blue and Shay who ended up
Yeah.
single, and then had to basically battle it out themselves, or you know, decide who was going to leave. And I'm like, well, no one's ever going to do that. It'd only be the case if you had someone who was in there for weeks or something, right? Do you remember it was at Hugh?
Yes.
I was just like there on holiday on an all-inclusive,
Yeah.
and I was never
Yeah.
going to get with anyone. And so I think it's only in that scenario where someone might say, you know what, I'm fucking sick of it in here. I just want to go out and have a kebab or something. So yeah, I thought that could have worked better. You know, like, I don't know, get them in big sumo suits, fight it out, or you know, just mix it up a bit more than that, because it obviously just went straight to the couples. And they, to be fair, I thought they'd keep Blue in. Certainly
Yeah,
the
I
way
did.
the guys were talking, he was a bit more sort of pally with and popular with the guys, but I think the girls didn't like him as much, and I think that swayed the vote in the end.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the girls that had the deciding factor. Like I said, it was a bit like Ben, very cocksure of himself. I said it before. Like, he didn't
Yeah,
do a lot, but I also am thinking, well, like, is that an opportunity missed? Would he have been an absolute bastard in this? I don't know. I think he would have played the game. I think if Castro is in this series, he looked like the type who'd just be straight in there, no regrets. Which, to be fair, Dave, segues us nicely into the movie night light, as you've called it in the
yeah.
notes, which I really like. That was a good twist. Now, me and Sam did say, how has that telly just appeared? Was that there from the start and I've missed that? Maybe it was. Maybe they've said, like, this telly's going to show different things. I don't know. But it just appeared, and the girl's like, oh my God, what's that round the pool? It's like, well, it's a TV, like a cinema screen. You must have seen somebody putting that up, or maybe it's been there from the start and I missed it. And maybe actually it's not been on. I don't know, but it was huge. And the
Well,
guys were sat up.
sorry to cut across you, but they'll have like crew and stuff, won't they? So it wouldn't have
Yes,
necessarily been there from the start. And I think they were all inside, weren't they? So they could
Big
have
Brother style. Yeah,
people, yeah, they could have people kind of rolling it out and sort of setting it all up and what have you.
that's fair. That's fair, Dave. Yeah, I'll give you that. Maybe if I'd thought
Thought
logically, I
about
might have
it
had
for
an
5
answer like
seconds.
that. Yeah. I'm just blaming the producers straight away. I'm already on the producers. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
thought
if,
he was good. I
yeah, sorry, I cut across you for
thought
a
it was.
second time. You
No,
go.
no, go. No, I was just going to say, I felt that the conversation with the guys when they were talking about the relationships and the girls were watching, the girls are all stood absolutely in a perfect line together, which felt as if they'd been told where to stand. You know, like they have tape on the floor when you're watching
Yeah,
TV,
yeah.
when they do it, or they have a spot, don't they? There's an X with tape on, stand there. That's a perfect shot for
Or
the
for a free
camera.
kick.
Well, yeah, obviously you've got to
You got Mark Clattenburg
hold it.
coming out,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, yeah, you got to hold it there, Dave. As a man, but I do think that the guy's conversation felt like they'd gone over it a few times. And one of the girls that was making me suspicious that they played this out a few times was Megan, because every time Megan was on the screen, she was like sort of smirking and laughing. It was like I can't explain, when we watched Towie. you can
Mm.
see on some of the people who are on it that they've done that scene a few times because it's like, because they're all friends, they have to act it out and it
Yeah, yeah,
doesn't feel genuine. And it felt like fake because Megan's with Dijon, isn't she? And he was like chatting with the girls who came in, and they
yeah,
were all acting a bit cocky, weren't there, and all that. And then, like you said, they can only do that once. Well, they're going to have to do that with the girls. The girls are going to know that the guys are going to watch it when some new bombshells coming because they're going to send the girls out at some point on like a day out or something. But it was the way the guys are just being so cocky. Well, yeah, I'm not in a relationship. Yeah, I'm not. And I'm like, oh, lads, this is going to come back on you here. And it was a bit the thing with that, they were only together a few days, but some of the girls were acting like they were in like a 6-month relationship. And I'm like, I
yeah,
love Love Island. It's ridiculous. Everyone's so we all are naturally jealous and we all have that thing of like, that's mine. Whatever it is, the things you do, even you buy some, I just bought, and you could see that. I think it's just a natural human nature. I'm not calling them out because we've all probably done it, but just seeing how possessive the girls are like, what's going on? No, 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 I'm not having that. So it's going to be fireworks. And I'm sort of like, yeah, this is where you pulled me back in, you bastards. I'll see
yeah,
you Sunday because I want to, and it'll probably be a really rubbish showdown. But for the
yeah,
purpose of me thinking all weekend, I think they did the job with that, to be fair.
yeah. I do. I mean, when I talk about setting up the TV and stuff, I'm thinking, well, who's sorting out the sound? So if they do just set it up, they have to test out the sound, don't they? And so, yeah,
Yeah.
the Islanders would have heard something. But anyway, thinking about things too much there. Um, so yeah, the thing I really enjoyed about it, to be fair, they know they're on TV, obviously, and they know that movie night is now a thing. It's been in for the last few
Yeah.
seasons, and so anything they say can be taken down and used against. But you're in the
Someone's been
first
arrested
few
then.
days. You're in the first few days. So you want to be, not completely closed off, and you want to be having those conversations. And that's what's interesting to see. How are they going to tactfully dance around it, or are they just going to be, I'm not bothered, I'm going to just entertain whatever, in which case, it could leave you vulnerable. So that makes it interesting for me. So I think maybe they've filmed it a few times,
Yeah.
like a lot of the scenes possibly, but and I think we've seen it on Love Island for years where they're all in a line, so it's perfect for the camera. They're not in a circle, which you would be naturally, say, if they were all
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
It's for the camera, so they know where the camera is and stuff. So I think I can buy that they were all sort of told to where to sit down and stuff, but I don't think I think they might be a bit surprised that the fact that it was beaming live, you know,
Yeah.
into the villa. And I've said from the beginning, that is one of the things I love about reality TV, and that pulled me in ultimately, is when you have a conversation or you observe an event or a conversation, and then people go off and represent it in these different ways, and they use words and language in order to manipulate the listener into believing what they want them to believe, and to a greater or lesser extent we all probably do it. No, we all do it, but to see it is just it's fascinating to me. So I am looking forward to next week and all the drama that will come out of this, because I mean, I don't recall any of the boys saying anything completely outlandish. I mean, the girls took any little thing of non-committal behavior. It was like, oh, it's fucking terrible, oh, it's really muggy, really muggy. It's week fucking one.
Exactly.
Don't pretend like you're married and having a word with the bank about your first mortgage. So yeah, it's just all. I thought that was a welcome addition, and like you said, I think I was already bought in before Friday's episode, but that was the best episode of the week.
Yeah, it was. I think you're right. It's that thing, as I said, and you just said of no fucking 4 or 5 days, and some of these have only just been recoupled. I mean, I think Harry was the one who said about um Helena, didn't he? Like, oh yeah, we're doing really well. It's early days and all that, And I think he'd said something before then was a bit naughty, to be fair.
Said
But
something about she said some things that I wasn't sure about, so I need to get to, find out more about it. But it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to find out a bit more about her?
Exactly.
It's,
Exactly.
it's fucking week 1.
Yeah. I'm with you,
Oh,
honestly, because I think you're right. Look, there's 3 new girls there, 3 pretty girls. They went full on, chest out, fucking stomachs in. They're all like this, weren't they? They were all like peacocking. At the end of the day, you're on a popularity contest TV show, and the most popular couple wins. So that's what you've got to do, haven't you? So even though they're with someone now, we've seen it, people recouple, people shitting each other, people then sort of cheating within the context of the show, math style, but they end up being everyone hates them. There's been a couple of times where the guys have gone Castro more, they've copped off. It's usually the guys, to be fair. It's very rare the girls have done it, but the guys have done it. They've cheated. I mean, look at Liam
oh,
over here.
I think there's
Liam,
plenty of cheating both ways.
well, yeah, maybe. Unless your name's Olivia, Dave. Obviously, Olivia came back, and
Oh,
Kai was
he's so
disgusting.
fake.
Kai brought me back, and I just brought someone back, and I can't believe you've done that to me, Kai.
Yeah.
Well, what if he'd not done that? And he's still with the girl. Anyway, they're actually very happy together. So yeah, they're still together. They've got a charity and everything. Because she's a
He's just
Kai's
faking
so
it.
boring.
He's faking it.
Yeah. I'm in the new Fast and Furious film. You just see part of my toenail, but me and Vin Diesel really hit it off. I'm in something else. Yeah, okay, Olivia, goodbye. But no, I do think that as a first week, I mean, I'm not going to complain, Dave. Maybe by week 5, when the same thing's going on, you'll hear us both going, you Bella and this, you Bella and that. That'll be coming out without a doubt. And to be fair, Dave, I've not had to bring back the reality radar, Dave, this week. There's no radar. I'm just weighing everyone up. Then it'll be something. The Casamorians are not even a word anymore, Dave. They finished. They're like the Jedi. They're gone, Dave. They've gone. Been wiped out.
Yeah,
Completely gone.
I feel like this is like the experts on maths. Is it that you've not collected enough data points to feed into the reality radar, and then you need to make your assessments. You need to crunch the numbers.
Dave, there's just for the camera. There's where my data is there on my hand. I'm just writing it on my hand. Oh, right. Yeah. I've come up with a theory, Dave. Yeah, your pen's run out. It doesn't matter. I've come up with a theory. It's there. Fucking nonsense. I am an expert though, Dave. So we will see as this goes on. So anything else, Dave, before we go?
BBC correspondent, no less. But
well, you know what I mean, Dave.
So no, I think that's I think I've enjoyed the first week. You did actually slam me. I forgot about this until just this second, but this morning we were talking about recording later, and you said, "Oh yeah, it's on longer." So it's about 3 months.
Oh, got you.
And you
got you.
What?
Because you were all cheering everything. We just finished the VHS, haven't we? And we finished the episode, and then you were just like, "Oh, yeah." It's like you just fucking went from me then too to like, "Oh, Chris, I'm gonna Homer and Bart Simpson your neck." Like, what?
Completely.
I hope it doesn't go further than 8 weeks. Yeah, you'll hate me. But anyway, no, thank you, mate. Thank you, everyone, as always, for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed this first episode. It will be a weekly thing. We'll keep the video thing up as long as you want. Give us feedback on it. Any questions? We got called out when we did maths, Dave, that we were sticking up for certain people and all this. And we just call out bad behaviour. That's what we do. We're 2 middle-aged men. We're going past the point that we should be watching Love Island. That probably happened about 6 years ago, Dave, after we started it. But we're going to carry on doing it. It's what we love. You guys love it. Some lovely comments on Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast, about when are we coming back, what's going on. We had a couple of weeks off. Are you covering the UK one? Of course, we're here now. This is episode 1. So we'll be coming out every Sunday now the next few weeks. If there's a bit of drama, we have said possibly we might jump on, but it's not a daily, not a podcast, because it just is physically impossible. So no, thank you so much, guys. And if you do want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com, on social media @CDRealityCast. And that also goes for YouTube as well, @CDRealityCast. So come and join us over there if you want to see our lovely photogenic faces. Am I right, David? And then all the audio format, as always, Spotify, all podcast catching apps that were available. So please get over to whichever way you listen to us. And if you listen to me saying this, you're already listening anyway. So what am I talking about, Chris? You absolute bellend. But there you go. I'm calling myself the bellend of the week this week, Dave, for just that comment. However, if you don't support us, don't answer me there, Dave.
No.
I'm the bellend of the week.
I know. This is weird, right? I don't think there is a particular bell end, is there? I mean, no, I think, yeah, I agree. You for telling me it was a 3-month fucking season.
2. I meant 2, Dave. 2. I meant 2. Right, yeah, means nothing on an audio
The
podcast,
extra
but
one.
Touche. So anyway, if you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/CDRealityCast. And if you don't know where us and if you do want to listen to us, we have got episodes as a patron. If you are a patron, you've not watched, listen to us. We didn't do them as a video. We did them as an audio podcast on Virgin Island. We've got 2 more to go. We've done episodes 1 to 4. And get over there, guys. We do appreciate it. So CD Cast. No, it's not CDReality Cast. It's patreon.com/CDReality Cast. So the roll call of honor and the first one of this series, guys. A big thank you to. Here we go. Chris, you ready, Dave? It's been a few weeks.
Ready.
I'm ready. Well, hang on. Oh, well, no, hang on, Dave. My headphones are bloody fell out now. Hang on, but I have got a left one. Need to get better headphones. They're always falling out, these bloody things. Anyway, which wouldn't matter on an audio podcast, Dave, but now on a video one, it does matter. So, big thank you to Emma, Holly, Darren, Anna, Tilly, Marcy, Stacey, Sinead, Kathleen Sims, Nick, Danielle, Amanda, Larissa, Nicola, Gillian, Keith, Helen, Chloe, Joanna, Libby, Susan, Lauren, Lucky Green, and Ken Casas. So thank you so much, guys, for your support. Great to read that out again, Dave, after a couple of weeks off. We're back. We may even get Jo on at some point as well. She does love a bit of Love Island, so I'll reach out to Jo, because a lot of you guys did like Jo on for a couple of the episodes, and she can tell us both off, which is always fun. So thank you very much. Really enjoyed this one, and a good return to podcasting again.
That's amazing. And I think the last time we had Jo on quite a few times was we did the Married at First Sight episode, and she was so enthusiastic and joyful and optimistic about all these relationships. So I wonder how this season in Love Island is going to go, and whether we're going to actually see anyone. I think, again, the needle of, people who are looking at the content creation stuff seems to have moved a little bit more that way. But no, it's good to be back. And thank you very much, sir, for dragging me back in again. You see you next Tuesday. And no, seriously, I have enjoyed it. I know I don't often say that, but thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all the listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.